Have you ever had a time where you can get hard alone looking at a screen, but when it comes to a real partner, you go soft? Well, you're not broken, and here's how to know if corn had anything to do with it. And you might be thinking, well, who are you to tell me something about this? Well, for 10 years, I struggled with a corn addiction. And at the age of 20 years old, I was suffering from porn-induced erectile dysfunction, which meant I was watching adult content so much, I was able to get aroused by pixels, but I froze up when it came to a real partner. And since then, I spent a lot of money and a lot of time developing a plan to free myself from the death grip of pornography, and I've been able to now help over 300 men in the same position overcome the P word. So by the end of this, you'll understand the effect that pornography can have on your performance and if it can be linked to erectile dysfunction. And if it is linked, is it possible to reverse it? So let's get one thing straight. Erectile dysfunction can be caused by a lot of different things. It could be hormonal, it could be psychological, it could be because of vascular issues. Because just to give you a quick breakdown without getting all nerdy on you, all erections are is blood flowing from other parts of your body to your penis to get it erect and firm. So when you're having trouble getting hard, all that's going on is something is constricting the amount of blood flow going into your penis. It's simple. That can be because your brain is nervous and it's not sending the right signals. That can be because you don't have the right hormonal balance for your system to work properly, or a lot of other reasons, which we will get into. But in my opinion, and I could be biased because I suffered from this, the erectile problems caused by pornography and caused by the psychological side of things hurt the most because it's the most vicious cycle. It happens once and then you start thinking to yourself, well, is this gonna happen again? Am I gonna be able to get hard this time? Which causes you to get stressed about it, and now you're always thinking about it, and it could be a never-ending cycle. That's why I want to share this, because I wish I knew this years ago. So let's touch on the psychological side of erectile dysfunction. This is not always porn-induced. This can have a wide range of reasons. You can have problems with your personal life, with some of your relationship issues or stress, miscommunication in your sexual relationships or even partnerships. You can have performance anxiety, or of course, this can be from pornography. And everything that we cover here, I feel like everyone believes that they're alone when they're going through this, but it's actually very common. I talk to a lot of guys with this problem, so don't feel like you're broken. You just might have a wiring issue in your mind, which can be fixed, because psychological ED can even be caused from things such as trauma. So whether it's mental or physical, when you're in the moment and certain feelings or certain emotions pop up that may have painted sexual activities in a negative way or making you get nervous for some reason, this can very much have an effect on your psychology whenever you're in the moment, preventing you from getting an erection. But let's get to why you all came here for. Can pornography lead to erectile dysfunction? And the short answer is yes. And again, I've experienced this, so let me tell you how and why this can happen. People use pornography for many different reasons, but over time, because your brain is a habitual and learning machine, you can get comfortable or even get used to getting aroused by watching other people perform sexual acts, or getting aroused by watching pixels on the screen rather than in-person connection, because they're two different stimuli. So when you have a partner in front of you, those same signals are not being sent out, and you're not used to those kind of situations. But when you're by yourself, you're the most comfortable, allowing you to perform. So over time, it can become so much of a habit to masturbate in a certain type of way with a certain type of stimulation that having somebody with you, with real connection, with real love, with real intimacy, doesn't even cut it anymore. And this can even cause some people to prefer watching pornography rather than having their own relationships out in life. And you can imagine the damage that that could do to a man. And one of the main things that can cause someone to only be aroused by pornography is because the amount of stimulation and the things that you're watching, they're not real life. You're not going to replicate it with your partner or someone that you have intercourse with it's not healthy, and you might have a certain type of death grip on yourself. So that sounds like a lot of problems coming from pixels on a screen, right? So how do we actually break free? Is it even possible to break free? Well, the truth is you can, but only if you have the right system. So I'll explain to you how I broke free from this 10-year addiction. So the first thing is you need to stop watching adult content, obviously. But how do we actually do that? This might sound weird, but replace pictures with your imagination. Which means if you must absolutely need to feel the urge, then replace videos, replace scrolling, replace images with your imagination. This is not a long-term fix. This is just step one. It's kind of like when smokers go from cigarettes to nicotine patches to like nicotine gum, and then they don't need it anymore. Same thing. So start giving your brain less stimulation by only using your imagination and not relying on the novelty of social media and scrolling on websites. And the next thing is write out what this is really doing to you. The reason that this is so important is because unless you write it down, it doesn't become reality. If you're making a big purchase and then it's time to add your signature, that's when it actually hits you. So write down 3 things. What has porn cost you over the past 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? What is it holding you back from now? And finally, what happens if it keeps holding you back in life? Make it real in your life. So whenever the urge hits, you have those 3 things in mind. You can read that paper out loud, and it could give you the slap in the face that you need to make the decision that you actually want to make. So what this sounded like for me was porn caused me to have ED at such a young age. It is currently holding me back from having relationships that I feel like a young man should have and be able to do things that other people should experience. And what this is holding me back from, if I don't get this under control in the future, is I would be on my deathbed, I would be a grown man, and I would have so much regret for myself for always going back to something that I knew had no benefit for me. And reading that out loud, realizing that, made me realize I had to change. So whenever the urge hits initially, just use imagination. And after I did that for around 1 to 2 weeks, I built the muscle of not going to porn. So I stopped using my imagination and I just didn't give in to the urge. And what made it 100 times easier was saying those 3 things out loud, because it made me realize what the right decision that I actually wanted to make is. So TLDR, yes, if you watch an excessive amount of adult content, it can cause your brain to not respond to real life situations and can cause ED. But it doesn't mean if you watch porn a few times a month, you won't be able to get it up. It's usually the case when you watch porn multiple times a week for a long period of time. So if you're serious about quitting, I have a gift for you. Down below, I have 2 links. One is a relapse protocol training, where you'll get the exact training on how to turn a relapse into a learning opportunity so that you can build a plan next time the urge hits. And another one is an invite to a free root session call. This is where you and I can dive deep into your situation and understand why you keep going back so that we can build a plan to actually break free. So if you're done playing games, click one of those 2 links below. But other than that, I hope this video helped you out, and I'll see you next time.